Okay, this is going to be the Algebra 2 Quarter 1 review for 2018 to 2019. A few new things in here from last year, a few things have been removed, so this is a new video. Okay? All right, let's start with question number 1. Very simple, we're going to graph. You got to know anchor points. Anchor point here would be -2, -3. Okay, opposite inside, follow on the outside, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, what we want to do is we want to graph just like we've graphed all year. All right, negative x plus 2 squared minus 3. All right, g solve root, no roots obviously. G solve max, that confirms -2, -3. There is no minimum. The y-intercept is -7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And this is a U shape, so make sure you raise a U. Okay. All right. Number 2 over here, this is an inequality. What I want to do is the inequalities, I want to graph the right side first with the exact inequality I see. So I go to type, I go to F6, okay? I'm going to pick F4, all right? Negative, option num, abs, all right? X minus 1, okay, plus 4. Draw it, okay, whoops, sorry. Then I do the other side, type, scroll, okay, and I flip around the inequality. Well, now I'll do F3, and that will be 2x plus 1, okay? So the big thing to understand, inequalities are flipped. This is eating that, so draw, G solve intersect. I've got 1.3, and it's only being shaded to the left. So 1.3, closed circle, left shade, which means that if I was making an inequality, that would be less than or equal to. Okay? Number 3 question. The anchor point here would be -2, -1. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and graph this. Alright, the type, F6. I'm going to pick this exact inequality, which would be F2. Alright, 3. Option num, abs, x plus 2 minus 1. Draw, okay, it's shaded below, but I'm going to find some of the same stuff. G solve root, -2.3, -1.6. Okay, G solve max, there is no max. G solve minimum, -2, -1 I've already graphed. G solve y-intercept, it's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be a dashed V, okay, because that is that there, and then I would shade outside. Okay, question number 9 on the second page. Okay, all right. The big thing here is you got to find the anchor point. So my anchor point is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So -3, -4. So what I do is I follow these. All right, I would get there by shifting left 3. Whoops, that should be a +4, sorry. And going up 4. It is a flipped, so it's going to reflect over the x-axis. Okay, now the dilation. What I get that from is when I go 1 right, it only takes 1 down to get there. So that's why this is a dilation factor of 1. So this is 1 right, 1 down, so that's 1. If I would have been 1 right, 2 down, then I would have selected that. Okay? All right, the solutions here, what is the solution for that? Okay, very simple. All right, let's turn our type back to y equals. All right, option num, abs, x minus 3, and then 2x. Draw, G solve intersect. I only care about that, x equals 1, and if I was making that on a number line, it would just be that. Okay? Number 2 here. I've got option num, abs, 3x plus 4, and then I got 8. All right, G solve intersect. One of the answers is -4. If I hit the other one, that's 1.3. So -4, 1.3. So -4, fill it in, 1.3, fill it in. Make sure you can see that. Yep, fantastic. Let's do these over here. Okay, when I have shading on the inside, that's going to be absolute value less than or equal to. Okay, because shading's on the inside, I count the spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I take 12, I divide 12 by 2, I get 6. I move in 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I end up here, so this would be -2 because I put opposite for that one. Okay, let's go to question number 5. Type. Okay, I'm going to pick the exact inequality I see, which would be F3. Then I would type 10. Then type. I flip around the inequality. I would now select F4. So I got -2, option num, abs, x plus 3. Okay, so if I look at mine, they're opposite and it's eating the correct thing. I draw it. G-solve intersect. I see no shading. Okay, so I got no shading. Okay, I have no intersection. So that leads to no solution. Okay? If you had shading, like let's say you had shading and no intersection, that would be all real numbers. Okay? Let's go down to these two, 5 and 6. Another inequality question. Type. I'd pick the type was here would be F2. All right, I put 8. Type. F1. Option abs. X minus 8 plus 4. Okay, now as you can see, I can barely see that intersection. So I'm going to have to zoom out, execute. Now I can see it. G-solve intersect. One of the answers is 4, the other is 12. Since it's this kind of inequality, that's open circles. If you look at the shading, it's taking place inside. So what I got is x and 4, x and 12. It's being shaded to the right of 4, so it's greater than, left of 12, which is less than. Okay? Graph the inverse. All right, so the anchor point here is 1, 1, 2, 3. So I got 1, 3 as the anchor. All right, then I got 2, 4. Then I got 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 7. Now, so when I go to find the inverse, those points just flip around. All right, now here's the deal. This here is still going to be your anchor. So 1, 2, 3. 3, 1 is there. 4, 2. 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3. So this goes this way. All right? The way I know it goes this way is that's still going to be your anchor point. Okay? Question 7. Find the inverse. Well, the inverse function here, this means inverse. All right? That's going to be, square root's going to become x squared. That's 2, that's add 2 outside. So you can see that. Hopefully you can. Oh, let's zoom out just a little bit. Okay, that's add 2 outside. So that means that's going to be subtract 2 inside. That's going to be 3 times the outside. So that's going to be 3 divided by the inside. All right, so that right there would be your inverse. Okay, what is the inverse of that? So squared would become now square root. That's minus 4 outside, so plus 4. Plus 3 outside, minus 3. Okay, pretty simple on that. For the domain, for f of x, the domain is -2, infinity, the range is 4, infinity. Find the domain and range of the inverse. All that means is the domain and range are going to flip around. So now the domain will be 4, infinity, and the range would be -2, infinity. So all these got to do in inverse is just flip around. We didn't cover that a whole lot, but I think that's pretty simple. Okay. Yeah, let's do this part over here. What is the domain of the graph? Well, I look at 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's -2, -4. This arrow would be labeled positive infinity, positive infinity. I want domain. Okay, so domain is going to be x value. My smallest x value here is -2. My biggest is going to be infinity. I don't worry, those will be the smallest and the biggest. So that best answer is reflected in C. Okay, let's scroll down here. Okay, all right, number 10. What I want to do is start with f of g of -4. So I'm going to start with the f function. Oops. I'm going to start with the f function, which would be that. Okay, that's the f function, just with no x inside. Then I'm going to put the g function inside there. Now, since I'm going to have this number, I'm going to store that in the calculator. And then type in the setup. Okay? So I've got -4, arrow x, okay, parentheses x minus 1 squared plus 2. That's going to be 27. Okay? Let me go to this one over here. What is the range of the following graph? So what you have to look at is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 3, 6 here. Okay? This arrow would be negative infinity, negative infinity. This would be positive negative. Okay? Because it's a left arrow going down, right arrow going down. For the range, my smallest y value would be negative infinity, and the biggest y value would be 6. And since that 6 comes from a point, I would put a bracket there. Okay? What is the y-intercept? I know this is sort of hard to see. There's only one here. I would go ahead and put that as y as -2. All right, if you put -2 or -3, that's going to be fine. Okay, let's go over to these last few problems down here. Okay, this is g of f of x. So I would start with the g function now. Fill in the f function. Now the difference is when I have this, I got to do multiply, and I need to combine like terms. All right. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to make a box. Okay. So 2x times 2x is 4. That's a really crummy box. Okay, so I'm going to erase this right now just so I have enough room to work. I need some room to work here. 2x plus 3, 2x plus 3, 4x squared, 2x times 2x, 3 times 2x is 6x, 2x times 3x is 6x, 3 times 3 is 9. Now, I have to, when I combine my like terms, it's going to be that way. So I got 4x squared, 6 plus 6, okay, it's going to be 12. Now I got to combine the 9, and I can't forget about this -2, so 9 minus 2, which is 7. So I got 12x plus 7. Now, this is like an application problem. This is saying if this were the composition, what would f of x and g of x be? Okay, now, make this easier on you. G of x is just going to be the part that's inside the parentheses. So what's inside the parentheses is x plus 3. The f of x, it's basically what you're going to do is work backwards. You want to replace the parentheses with x. So what the f of x would be, instead of this, would just be x squared, and I have the -4 outside. It's a little bit of an application. The x-intercepts, that would be here, and 1, 2, 3, 4 would be here. So what my x-intercepts are x equals 0, and x equals 4. Don't overcomplicate that problem. Okay? What are the zeros of this function? Well, the zeros should cross there, so this is going to be none. Okay? All right? Draw a linear function. That would be just a line. Draw an absolute value function. That would just be a v. Square root function would be like a dot, like this. And then what was the last one? Quadratic? Yep. A quadratic function would be a U shape. Okay? So don't overcomplicate that. All right? What intervals is the following? So let me go there. I was probably standing in the way. All right, so a linear function is a line, absolute value function v, square root looks like that, quadratic looks like that. What intervals is the following graph increasing or decreasing? So what you need to know here is that would be -2, 0. This would be like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let's say about 210. All right, this would be negative infinity, left arrow going down, positive, positive. So you got to label the min and max, and then the arrows. Okay. Now, all we care about are the x coordinates. Okay. When we do increasing, decreasing, we always start from the left. So this would be increase. Then I hit here, it goes to there, it's decrease. Then I hit here, it goes to here, increase. So always go left to right. Okay? So increase, decrease, increase. So it is increasing from negative infinity to -2. Then it's also increasing from 2 to infinity. It is decreasing from -2 to 2. Okay? Brackets aren't as important with increasing and decreasing. Okay? What was that? Did I miss a problem here? No, that's 18. All right, we're going to 19. Describe the transformation. All you need is the anchor point. My anchor point here would be -5, -4. So how would I graph that? Left 5, down 4. All right, well, let's find the one that matches. Well, up, no good. Down 4, that's good. Left 5, that's fantastic. That's going to be it. Down 4, right, no good. All right, right, up 4. All right, we didn't go up, so that's why that one's no good. Okay, write the equations. So what you need is the function, the anchor, and the number out front. All right, well, this function here is absolute value. Okay, that anchor point is 1, 2, 1, 2. So that's -2, 2. So inside would be +2, outside would be +2. Now, to get the number out front, 1 right from the anchor, then it would be 1, 2, 3 down. So since it's 3 down, that would be -3. So 1 right from here, then count 1, 2, 3. Okay? All right, this is the square root function. That anchor point is -1, 2, so that would be +1, +2. If I go 1 right to the anchor point, only 1 up, so I'm good there. Okay? All right. This one is a quadratic. Whoops. Okay, so this one is a quadratic. That anchor point is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is 3, 6. So -3 + 6. Now here I go 1 right to the anchor point, 1 down. So I put a little -1 there. Anytime you go down, you got to put the negative. All right. Let me go back up to this other problem. Describe the transformation of this graph. Okay. Don't worry about finding the inverse. You don't have to do that. Okay. So the transformation. So once again, that's all about the anchor point. That's going to be left 2, down 1. Okay, left 2, down 1. So that's what my answer would be. Okay, there is a question number 22 that is not on your packet, and what it's going to say is find the inverse of 3x minus 14. Okay, now here's how you're going to do that. Okay, this is a line, so this is still going to be a line. This is my subtract 14 outside. This is 3 times the outside. Okay, so subtract 14 outside becomes add 14 inside. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a 1 here for arithmetic purposes. 3 times the outside would be 3 divided by the inside. Now what I'm going to have to do is just, I'm going to have to reduce that. Okay, so very simply 1 divided by 3. Okay, is that crazy decimal? If you hit that, you get 1/3. 14 divided by 3. okay, it's 14/3. So 1/3 x plus 14/3, okay, that would be your inverse, okay? So if you just practice that stuff up for that sample test, you should be fine.